This week's Parshas Vayikrah, the first Parsha in Sefer Vayikrah. And it starts off, Vayikrah Elokim el Moshe, Vayidaber elav. Says Rashi, what does it mean, Vayikrah Elokim el Moshe? Says Rashi, it's telling you that before HaKadosh Baruch Hu spoke to Moshe about anything, he was makdim the dibur with a kriya. He called him. What's the importance of a kriya? What was it important that HaKadosh Baruch Hu called to Moshe? Why is that a central theme here? Vayikrah Elokim el Moshe. For what? Second, if indeed there's a kriya every time, as the Pasuk says, every time there's a dibur, there's also a kriya. So if that's the case, then why doesn't the Torah tell us that when they built the Mishkan? Right? Parshas Truma, right after Kisis, right after the comes down from our Sinai, right? Why doesn't it say that when Moshe went up to Har Sinai, Vayikrah Elokim el Moshe? Truth is, it does say Kriya over there. So why isn't we done it? We learned that whole lesson about Kriya there already when Hashem's calling Moshe to tell him the mitzvahs in Har Sinai. We have also in the Aleph of Vayikra an Aleph Ze'ira. It's written in small Aleph, right? So Chazal say that Moshe Rabbeinu didn't want to write Vayikra. He wanted to write Vayikrah. That it happened. Because by all the Goyish and Nevi'im, Chazal tell us, Hashem happened to come to them. Right? And Moshe didn't want to make himself better than any of the non-Jewish Nevi'im. Well, if that's the case, why doesn't it write it back in Shemos? Right? That's where it should tell us that this is that Moshe Rabbeinu is such an honor. Rav Gedalia Shur, Zecher Tzaddik Livracha, was a Sheshiva of Torah V'das, as a sefer they put out from him on the Torah and on the Chagim. So he points out that the inyan of Vayikra is an inyan of Chiba v'hitkarvut. Chiba and hitkarvut. Kadosh Baruch Hu was bringing him closer. Kiruv, bringing him closer. And that the point of Vayikra is that it's teaching us that whenever Kadosh Baruch Hu was speaking to Moshe, it wasn't an objective order from the boss, but rather HaKadosh Baruch Hu was calling to Moshe to bring him closer. It's a whole different gisha. It's a different relationship. I'm not giving you commands. I'm telling you what's good to do. I'm telling you what life is all about. I'm giving you instructions that can help you in life. That's the difference between Dibur and Vayikra. That Vayikra says, come, I want to give you something. I want to help you. I want to instruct you. I'll give you a way of life. That kiruv is especially Sefer Vayikra. Because Sefer Vayikra is the Sefer of Karbanos. It's a Sefer of the Avodah in the Beis HaMikdash. And the whole basis of service in the Beis HaMikdash is Karban is Lehit Karev. The purpose of a Karban is to bring us closer to Hashem. Our purpose is not stam to give God gifts. He doesn't need our gifts. It's that through our Karbanos we can use our Karban as a means of becoming closer to the Rabbanu Shalom. And that's why it's over here that Moshe Rabbeinu puts in the Aleph Ze'ira. And the Torah tells us that Kodesh Baruch Hu obviously told him to write it over here, because the pshat is in becoming closer to Hashem, Moshe Rabbeinu felt, who am I? I'm not worthy. That humility was dafka in the place where HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, come. And Moshe Rabbeinu says, me? Who am I? But the emes is that it's dafka because of the humility that Moshe Rabbeinu comes closer. Because we are humble to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Because we realize we are unworthy. To that extent, we come closer to Hashem. Because when a person feels, I don't need God, right? Then you don't come closer to Hashem. The old adage, there are no atheists in the foxholes, right? We saw it with our shvuyim. The shvuyim, in the worst possible situations in life, what did they do? They became religious. They came closer to God. Because when I realized I'm nothing, and I realized that the only way to be something is by being mitkarev to Hashem. So the Aleph Zeira fits dafka here. Here, who am I? Kadosh Baruch Hu says, you're my son. You're the person I want. You're my child. Therefore, come close. When you come close, Kadosh Baruch Hu gives us direction, shows us how to live, and that way makes our lives meaningful, and lives that can be lives that are full with a connection and a feeling of worth that dafka comes from not myself, but from my connection to Hashem.